Now, let's wrap up with this question. I want a straight answer. A compromised INEC chairman, a not bleeding from banditry, an EFCC being weaponized along ethnic lines, El-Rufai in detention, the Naira at its needs. If all of this is happening under our government, how would you describe and rate Tinubu's presidency?
No, I don't think EFCC is being weaponized for ethnic whatever. EFCC is trying their best. They have other funny things they do. You know, they have other funny cases they go into, and you begin to laugh because when you allow a big thief in government, for instance, what is happening in the power sector, the amount of money that has been invested in the power sector, and then you allow such things to continue to happen. And then when you and I goes to a club, and maybe we're lucky to have a rich man, spread Naira or not, they will arrest all of us because they say we are abusing the Naira. You leave bigger cases and you're chasing a rat. So that's one of the things that I'm against EFCC. But EFCC has actually obtained a lot of convictions, high-profile convictions, including the Accountant General of the Federation that was sentenced to so many years, although the court was also very stupid. The court mentioned that he was sentenced to 70 years in prison. Do you know how many years he's going to spend? He's not even going to spend a night in prison. He's going to walk free. Because they said, because of the language they use, the same bad language that they use against ADC, the same language they use for that guy. All of us are clapping hands, those who are not conversant with the law. But the man was not going to spend even up to 2 weeks. He will just walk away because then he's going to run concurrently. But for the fact that he was convicted, and there are a lot of convictions that EFCC has made, EFCC has her own funny things. Of course, when you have a person who never dreamt in his life that he's going to be chairman of EFCC, and suddenly God buttered his bread and used Tinubu to appoint him. Of course, you expect that there are certain cases that when the master, no matter who the person is, except a person that is very exceptional. And of course, El-Rufai deserved to have been arrested a long time ago. El-Rufai is not innocent of what is happening to him. Just that Tinubu is over-dramatising it. El-Rufai ought not even be under EFCC or DSS arrest. El-Rufai is supposed to join Charles Taylor, where he is. El-Rufai was in government when thousands of Christians were killed. I don't know why only Vanguard wrote that story, because I also watched it on TV. But if you browse internet now, it's only Vanguard that you will see come out, where El-Rufai admitted that he went to pay off the Fulani terrorists who were coming in to kill Southern Kaduna people. El-Rufai made that admission when he was a governor, his first term. He made the admission that he traveled abroad to settle Fulani killers, not to kill Southern Kaduna. I was born in Southern Kaduna, so I know very much about what is happening there, how they kill them. El-Rufai left in 2023 and imposed his boy, Obasani, who is also dealing with him now, as governor. Obasani was not supposed to win an election. He wasn't even supposed to win a councillorship election. El-Rufai made him senator and still read him into governorship election. El-Rufai ought to have been arrested and taken to ICC for crime against humanity. If you see the amount of people Southern Kaduna people have been killed, if you know how many communities of Southern Kaduna that have been taken over by Fulanis, it's in the media. Media people are actually trying, even risking their lives to write such stories. You understand? So you have a man who has been a governor and has committed the kind of crimes that were committed in Rwanda. El-Rufai, even if he didn't commit it directly, that he was the one that was in charge of security. He was the one that was governor. He ought to have liaised with the president. Buhari was the one who was in government when Fulani people started arming themselves. Then if you remember, a certain governor of Ondo State, the lawyer who married an Igbo woman, who married their sister, you know, the governor said he's giving 24 hours for anybody who is living in the forest. Because you know, Ondo State has a lot of forest. Governor wrote to me, ask people to leave the forest. That is Fulani people. They are the ones that live in the forest. No ordinary person, no people with brain live in the forest. The Fulani Daji, the Fulani people, there are good Fulani people who live in the town, who are very civilized, who are urbanized, who are very obeying, who are very advanced, who are very educated. A lot of Fulanis, it's just like 15% of Fulanis that are doing all these crimes that you're hearing. They live in the bush. I don't know what they're looking for in that bush. And then the governor said, leave the bush or we're going to get you out. Do you know that Muhammadu Buhari, I don't know whether you're in this country, whether you're in the outer space. Muhammadu Buhari used this boy from Kano State, Garba Shehu, a journalist like us, who issued a statement threatening the governor of Ondo State that why does he want to evacuate Fulani people living in the forest. You understand? And then the other Fulani military, what do you call them? The cow. Military also also told the guy that henceforth they won't recognize him as governor, they will do whatever they want to do. And the president didn't say anything, and they were actually doing whatever they want to do. And before you say Jack, the man died mysteriously. The governor who stood his ground, but he did one thing that was good. It was that governor, that late governor, who mobilized the people of Southwest. Very nice people, very great people. If at all, if the people of the governors in Southeast will be as wise as Southwest people, I don't think these terrorists will infiltrate those places. That they're infiltrating now, I don't know what's really happening. But the governors of Southwest, through the leadership of Akeredolu, set up Amotekun. Is that what they call it? Amotekun, yeah. Amotekun. And Amotekun is doing so well. Better than the police. And let me even do a final one. You are talking about mercenaries, whether it is illegal to use mercenaries. Is the government not using mercenaries? Didn't you read yesterday? This man from Rivers State, this man that is as part of this room, did he tell you that he sent people to go and fight in Zamfara State? Didn't he meet, what's his name? This, Asad Dokubo. One of the first people that Tinubu met when he was inaugurated was Asad Dokubo. Asad Dokubo addressed the press. We all watched on TV. Where Asad Dokubo said, his boys are fighting in Imo State. His boys are fighting in Kaduna. Is he not a private soldier? Is he not a mercenary? So why is government resisting the deployment of armed mercenaries? There are mercenaries all over the place that are very good. South Africa, the US, there are mercenaries. Even in Libya that is in trouble, there are mercenaries there. Why can't you use mercenaries to help the army? If the army are overwhelmed, by the way, how much are you even paying somebody that is fighting to kill him? I cannot even join the army of Nigeria because they are the poorest paid people all over the world. Can you pay somebody 100,000 or 105,000 to go and fight? And then you have a general who is describing a terrorist as a prodigal son. How do you expect the soldier? Maybe because they don't watch TV where they're fighting war. Or if they watch TV where they're fighting war, if I'm the one, I'll walk away. If the people that are trying to kill me have been described as prodigal son, I say, well, why do I need to kill a prodigal son? I'll walk away, I'll resign. And then you are still looking for people to join the army. How can they join the army?
Just wrap it up. In the light of all I've just said, how would you describe a Tinubu presidency?
Has failed. Tinubu has failed. Tinubu has failed. In fact, if you want to mark him, like some of us, Tinubu is just like some of us who made F9 in mathematics. Tinubu made F9 in leadership, F9 in economics, F9 in the most important sector of governance, security. If you cannot protect people from being killed, if you cannot protect people's property from being destroyed, which is what the Constitution says, as a primary duty of people in government is to protect lives and property. Tinubu has spectacularly failed. And unfortunately, the mistake Tinubu is making is that he makes his appointment based on names. If you're not Oluwa Tobi, or you're not Akeredolu, or you're not Amopito, he will not give you an appointment in a very important place. Maybe he can just make you Minister of State in one inconsequential place. You know, Tinubu is a bigot, an ethnic bigot. And ethnic bigotry has destroyed Nigeria. When you have a bigot appointing his boys to go to CBN, to become powerful people in different places, the Minister of Finance, for instance, you have the Minister of Finance that ought to have been arrested and jailed. Minister of Finance, the current Minister of Finance should have been arrested.
For what?
Yes, you're asking me for what? For 2 years now, we have not had capital budget finance. Didn't you hear the House of Rep member from Aba say it openly? You guys carry the story. You could said it. And they've been borrowing money. And when they asked our sister, the woman that is looking like Oyibo, when they asked her what happened, she couldn't even explain herself. The guy was confronting her. You guys have been going to borrow money and say you're going to finance capital budget. Do you know the meaning of non-financing capital budget? Okay, let me give you an example. Maybe some of us who live in Abuja don't even go directly to enjoy such things. You know, primary health center, primary health care. If you don't go to the village, you have people that live in the village. Most villages have primary health centers that are controlled by the Federal Ministry of Health. So if a ministry like Ministry of Health, that capital budget that was approved, mind you, appropriation is a law.
Yeah.
And they have people violating the law, and they're still being allowed to preside over government or government affairs. The Minister of Finance ought to have been arrested a long time ago, and his Minister of State. And then they don't finance capital budget.
Who will move for his sack or his arrest?
Of course, in the House of Rep members.
If the National Assembly is not doing their oversight,
They said it.
that was Ikweche moving.
Yes.
But the Ikweche as a member of a committee is not the House of Reps in its entirety, moving against. So how will
Nigerians that are benefit? All of us are affected. Because my mother, who lives in the village, goes to the primary healthcare center. Now, the meaning of not approving capital budget is if the roof, most of these primary health centers have roofs that if the kind of wind blows, it blows it away. They cannot rebuild it. They cannot buy Panadol. If the amount of Panadol they have finishes and somebody have malaria, people suffer malaria all the time in the east, for instance. People suffer cholera in the north. So primary healthcare centers will not have to renovate and maybe get their stocks back, Panadol and the rest of them. And then in Abuja, which if you doubt it, you can drive around primary schools, even within the AMAG, primary school roofs are falling all over the place. I don't know of Abuja budget because the Abuja minister has been given free hands to collect tax and spend it the way he wants. That's what the president told him, which is against the law. There's a law that was made that any money that you are generating must enter straight.
TSA, it was excluded.
And the president, who is not the National Assembly, the president has become National Assembly and judiciary at the same time. The president now granted a waiver. They collect a huge amount of money. In fact, before the end of the month now, they have already told me how much I'm going to pay for tax. I don't know whether you guys have had it. Before the end of the month, if you don't pay it, you'll be in trouble. They will seize your money. Yeah. So everybody's going to pay tax clearance. They will evaluate you based on how much they see in your account. You cannot escape it. If they see 1 million in your account, you cannot tell them that I'm earning 100,000. No. This is 1 million because the government has access to all our financial transactions. You understand? And then you have people who are not respecting the law, and Nigeria is a very unfortunate place. Very unfortunate place.
It's a pleasure having you on SYMFONI.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time.